Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She's the host of the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, who is also the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, the market has certainly changed in the last year, causing some people to wonder if their houses will sell quickly and at a good price. During the pre-show, you shared that you created a series of videos about the top 12 steps to sell a house in this market.
I did just because I know that people don't do this every day. And they might do it 3 or 4 times, or maybe just one time in their lifetime. And every state is different. Every agent is different on how they handle the process. And it is quite a project. Moving just by itself is a huge project. But then the whole process of getting your house ready for sale, dealing with strangers coming through your home, dealing with inspections, moving, the closing process, there is a lot to it. And it certainly has gotten more complicated. Contracts now are like 21 pages long. And even though the verbiage here in the state is fairly understandable for most people, there are some little tips and tricks that not everybody really understands. And I've had very smart people ask me really good questions about the process just because they don't do it every day. So I thought, all right, I'm just kind of try to make it simple and understandable and put together a 12-step process of selling your home. So number one thing is, when is a good time to meet with a realtor? Generally, I think 2 to 6 months before you plan to go on the market. It could be longer than that, right? Sometimes maybe you plan to sell next year. Okay. And that's fine. It's okay to meet with a realtor at that time and just kind of get a feel for it, especially if you have some longer term projects that you want to do to improve or update the home before you put it on the market. So that's step number one. Number two, part of what we do is we sit down and we'll go over kind of what your goals are, what improvements you're planning on doing. And that way we can figure out how to best be prepared and give you the best advice on who you can talk to in order to get yourself ready for sale. It's not the same as selling a car where you can take it to a detailer and have it cleaned up and it's good to go and maybe have the oil changed. Buyers are pretty picky right now. Homes are very expensive in Colorado, and they're comparing it against other homes that they're seeing. So that's part of what we do, is give you a range of values and show you the pictures of what your competition would be in your price range, and give you really good tips on what to do and what not to do to get your house ready for sale, as well as show you how much you'll put in your pocket when it sells. And we go over all of our buyers so you have a really good idea on how we're going to market the home to command top dollar. So that's what we do. That's one of the steps. And really, on the initial meeting, and a lot of people panic over this and they shouldn't, is that they think their home should be show ready on the initial meeting. And that's really not required. We can look past all that. We've seen all kinds of homes in different states, and a lot of people are planning to move out before they sell. That's fine. A lot of people are in the process of fixing things. That's fine. Or maybe they plan to do a major declutter. It doesn't matter. We've seen homes in all kinds of states. And so for us, it makes no difference. We can see the bones of the house and be able to give you an idea on how to get it show ready. And probably one of the more important things is what not to do. Because some people assume that you have to do a full-on paint job and a full-on remodel. And sometimes it may not be necessary, especially in the price range. So if you're driving and you'd like some more information about getting that in-home consultation, just remember barbhasthebuyers.com. Most people remember that. You can go to that website, get our phone numbers, or give us a call at 719-301-3900. Okay, step number 3 is basically you want to sit down with an agent and sign an agreement to handle the sale. That basically starts what I call the pre-marketing process. What we do is 16 key marketing systems to get you top dollar, help you decide on pricing, and then get permission to find a buyer. So those are key things that we're trying to do, but there's some steps ahead of that, making sure the home is show ready for photos, making sure if you choose to do the pre-inspection, the certified pre-owned home program, that you know what you're getting into when your house goes on the market, because most of the agents will do an inspection. Part of our certified pre-owned home program is a pre-inspection. And most of the buyers will hire somebody to do an inspection. But the kicker is, in the state of Colorado, there is no license to be an inspector. There are no qualifications whatsoever. I could do an inspection, but I'm scary with a tool in my hand. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't know how to open the electrical panel properly. So it's crazy in this state. And so we recommend somebody that we trust to do that role, just so you have a heads up. Some of the most common things that we see on inspection that people are traditionally unaware of are roof, hail damage on the roof. I've also, a lot of buyers will check the sewer line, and because they're looking for breaks in the sewer line or maybe clogs in the sewer line from roots getting in there. So if you do that up front, you're prepared for it, and there are no surprises when it comes time for the buyer to come through. And then we also all kinds of satisfaction guarantees. So step number 4, we have an actual checklist on what we call what happens next, and itemize every step of the way so you know where you are and there are no surprises in the process. And then once we get through those steps, after we have the photos, we'll have you take a look at the photos, scrutinize them to make sure you're satisfied with them too. Some people are really into descriptions and grammar and want us to articulate the benefits of the home and how much they love the home and why. Those are great things to put in a home description. And so we'll have you edit that as well. And then of course, we'll start marketing to all the buyers, not just our buyers in waiting. So the pre-owned home program helps you deal with issues up front, because once the house goes under contract, then your buyer does an inspection. In most home sellers' mind, they're already moving, they're packing, they've already bought their other house in another location, and they don't want any hiccups along the path. Well, the biggest hiccup we have actually is the home inspection, and it puts the whole deal in doubt. So a lot of people hate that process. I don't like it either, but it's part of the process. And if you have a pre-inspection from one of our trusted professionals, then you know if there's any major problems, and you can head that off at the pass if you need to, because most sellers want certainty of passing the inspection. Step number 6 is prepare your home for buyers looking at the home. So we do all kinds of marketing, not just solely multiple listing service, which goes up to Zillow and Realtor.com and everybody else's website. We know that buyers eliminate homes based on the photos online in less than 1 minute on their phone. Sometimes it could just be the one photo that makes them go, nope, moving on to the next one. So we don't want that to happen to you. So we do everything we can to get the wow factor in the photos. And buyers will pick homes that they want to bother to drive by and see based on those photos. So they pick on their phone, they drive by. If they still like what they see, then they go to the next step, which is to ask to come inside. And so sometimes there are showing surprises with the showing process. A lot of sellers don't like that either, just if the agents are careless. So what we see sometimes are doors are left unlocked or open, lights are left on when they didn't want them to be on. I'm trying to think of some other ones. They use the restroom and don't clean up after themselves. I see them just silly stuff, right? It's just kind of silly stuff that if you're going into somebody's home, their private space, agent should treat it with great respect and be very careful to follow around the buyer and make sure the buyer doesn't leave the door unlocked, because it may not be the agent, it could be the buyer, but sometimes they might have 4 or 5 people on one showing appointment. They're not watching everybody and things are kind of getting out of hand. You know, I've had feedback that the kids are jumping on the bed. I found popcorn in houses. I mean, and we didn't have popcorn available. It's like, where did this come from? And the other thing agents do is very frustrating for sellers is they won't hesitate to show to an unqualified buyer, and they won't even ask the buyer what they're looking for. So we try to prepare you for the whole process so you're not surprised when those things happen. And we have different marketing programs to try to prevent the bulk of those things from taking place. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb has the buyer's team, and I'm also the host of the show, Your Real Estate Voice. And what we're talking about right now is the different steps to selling a home. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the rest of the steps and how you can position your home to sell fast and for the most money. And if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
We're talking about the 12 steps to sell a home the right way. That's how you do it, Barb. Tell us about the rest of the home selling process as well.
Number 7, home warranties. So when you pick an agent, you might want to talk to them about what warranties can we put on the home, because that will give peace of mind for the seller, peace of mind for the buyer. Like I recently had one home sell in which the water heater was pretty old, but you know what? We offered a home warranty and the buyer says, okay, fine, I'll take it. Even though the water heater was probably beyond its what they call useful life. And then we can also recommend our trusted contractors. Step number 8, what about accepting an offer? Typically, showings will stop at that point. It depends on the status that's put in the MLS, but in most cases, you could still accept more showings and more backup offers. But we have to tell the whole world that it's under contract. And that way, many times people won't show it once you've already accepted a contract. Then we order title, the buyer schedules inspections, and your home no longer has to be ready to show. And we talked about the home inspection, but part of what we do is help you be prepared to resolve those issues and disclose any issues that you may know about in the house so that you have a smooth inspection period. Step number 10 is if your buyer is getting a loan, you're going to need to pass an appraisal. That's different than an inspection. An inspection is about the systems in the house. The appraisal is mostly about its value. So appraisers have to prove to the underwriters, which are the loan approval gods, that the home is worth what the buyer agreed to pay based on similar recent sales only. However, they also have to prove whether or not the home meets the loan guidelines. So like for VA and FHA loans, as an example, they're real picky about just simple broken stuff, peeling paint on the outside, broken windows, missing stair rails, any safety issues. That's pretty much it. It's not really as strict as people think. So we help you get ready for that and give the appraiser as well as, keep you informed on what the current market values are. So, you're going to pass that step. Step number 11, the buyers have a right to a final walkthrough to confirm that the home is what they still thought it was and that all the inspection items are done. So many times we do those with receipts of whatever repairs have been done or pictures, either one. So we share that with them as we're going through the process. And last but not least, we will prepare for what we call the closing. That's the day the buyer and the seller change ownership of the property. Oftentimes we have the seller sign early just for convenience. We have the buyer sign on the day of closing. That's the day the buyer owns the house. And so we'll give you information about where you have to go, what you need to bring, what you can expect. So there are no surprises. That is what we do. Not all real estate agents are the same. Some won't tell you very much of this, and you have to just kind of guess or ask. So if you are thinking of moving, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She's the host of the program and the proprietor of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. A short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about what to do if you want to buy a home but have a home to sell first, plus Barb's hot new listings. Stay tuned for that.